What's up, everyone? Shane here with ROA Off-Road. Today, I'm going to be doing a full walk around and tour of the all-new PAWS XC 20.3 by Palomino. These are pretty incredible off-road, off-grid trailers. And it's going to take quite a bit of time to walk around this and go over everything with you. So grab your popcorn, maybe a drink, and get ready. If you have any questions specifically, and I don't cover it in the tour, just reach out to us at 801-860-0035. And that's our direct line to all of our stores and our facilities. These units we're actually carrying at our South Carolina location. That's where you can come out and see them with us. There's dealers all over the country. We got these out in Utah right now because we're doing some marketing and some filming for them. Keep in mind that we'll deliver anywhere in America, but if you want to come and see one in person, just reach out to us, and when you text that number or call that number, we'll have an option for Utah or South Carolina, and just make sure you click the South Carolina store. A little bit about Palomino and PAWS. Pretty cool story. The guy who founded the model, the brand, Maynard is his name, and he tells the story of where he went to an RV show and he saw some off-road trailers, actually Black Series. It's a Chinese import, but they copy the Australian design. And he saw them and he was like, wow, that Australian inspired design was really cool compared to what he had seen. And so he went back and started researching Lotus and Zone and Brochure, and saw that Australia was doing some really cool things. It inspired him to essentially create this, and he spent a lot of time researching, and that's one of the things that I've really liked about this brand, because I definitely feel like some manufacturers in the US come out and said, oh look, there's a hot new thing going over there, we should jump on it, and they are making these off-road trailers, but they're kind of just like American-made trailers with some off-road features, like, oh, they got independent suspension, but they're really not that good. They're not really like off-road trailers like the Australians have been making for years, or in Africa. PAWS has kind of knocked it out of the park. They have brought in what's really good about America, the conveniences, the modern things like the electric awnings to incredible appliances and refrigerators, really good American components, but they've also combined it with really good Australian design, and honestly in some areas even better. And I think one of the things that makes me most excited about PAWS, they haven't just said, hey, we should copy the Australians, or let's go to Australia and buy all their parts and bring them here and build a trailer. What they've done is they said, hey, let's make it American, and if there's something that we need, let's build it, let's design it. And what's really cool about that is they're a big enough company that they can go out to MoreRide, which is a very big suspension company and hitch company that's been around for decades in the United States. They just went out there and said, look at this cool independent suspension that everybody's doing overseas. Can you build us one of these types of suspensions? And MoreRide's been like, sure, we'll build it for you. And they can only do that because they're a large enough company to be able to have that capacity or that capability to say, hey, we can actually pay you for this and we can actually take it to market. It's not a huge risk. Like if a small company comes in and says, MoreRide, build a suspension, they're going to be like, who are you? But since it's PAWS, by Palomino, they're like, no, this is a big deal. And so that's what's really cool, is almost every component and everything in this trailer is actually American made. So let's go through this and really go into some details. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some of the specs we have on it. The total length from tip to tip is 25 feet and 2 inches. The height is 10 foot 9 inches, and the width is 82 inches. The dry weight is coming in at 7,859 pounds, and the GVWR is 9,459 pounds, with a cargo capacity of 1,600 pounds and an 840 pound tongue weight. So what does that mean? I'm gonna recommend a 2,500 if it's diesel. That's amazing. I'm pulling it with a Hemi, and I was going off-road. I felt it. I'm loaded. I got water, and there's 76 gallons of water. There's a 30 black tank and a 30 gray tank. I had all the water in it. Took a long shower last night, probably about 10 minutes. It has an on-demand hot water heater, so I just could run it forever. I'll get more into those details. So definitely going to be recommending a 2500 truck on it, possibly a 1500, but you would want a 13,000 pound tow rating, you know, like max tow package. I would just say go with a 2500. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the construction, the materials. This is a trans-core composite material. It's about 1.5 inches thick. It's a one-piece composite. It also has a full body wrap. These walls are very strong. They actually had some videos where they're actually hitting this with sledgehammers. We actually have a photo where the whole pause division, they must have had over 10 people standing on that roof. It is walkable, maybe danceable, but I wouldn't dance. It's mostly covered with solar and all kinds of stuff up there. The company that they use actually is used more in semi-trucks, in trailers for refrigeration. So for cross-continental transport of food and refrigeration. So it's very, very good for insulation. And I've slept in it now as low as in the teens, and the trailer inside is very, very warm. Last night we got into the mid-20s. Looks like it's nice and warm down here, but it's the desert, it gets cold at night. The inside stays very, very warm. Away from the walls, you have these extrusions, and these are PVC extrusion, and that's all along the entire walls and the roof. Really cool is because there's no thermal bridging. When you're dealing with metals or other different materials, you have a lot of conductivity with heat and cold. I've experienced it in teen weather, and the cabin stays nice and warm. I haven't experienced it in the middle of the summer, but I'm expecting it to do really, really well, especially with what it has for an air conditioning, which I'll get into later on. The windows, they're a dual pane made by Lippert, and they are a polycarbonate or a acrylic blend. Even the frames are a polymer, so it's all plastic. There's no metal in this. So what does that do for you? Once again, it's thermal bridging. It eliminates a lot of thermal connectivity, but it also eliminates condensation. So I've been in this trailer a bunch now running heat, and I have not noticed any condensation. Not saying there won't be condensation, I'm sure you'll find some, but with these windows being all a polymer or plastic, there's no condensation, very little heat transfer, and then also inside I'll show you they have some blind options too. Let's move down to the actual frame and talk about what the foundation is, what it's sitting on. It's actually built by Moride, and it's a huck and rivet, all aluminum frame. So you're never gonna deal with rusting or corrosion with the aluminum. It's sitting on an independent air ride suspension, all built by Moride. It has blisting shocks, and it can travel up to 12 inches. It has over 25 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty unbelievable. Underneath here, it's all covered with a diamond plate. It's going to be pretty hard to protrude and hit anything underneath there. It's also underneath that diamond plating, it's insulated, and the water tanks are up and underneath that body armor, and they are also insulated and have heated tanks as well. Pretty robust overall, the way it's all built. These huck and rivets, that's kind of how they build bridges and semi-trucks too. If you look at semi-trucks, they do a lot of this same construction. Let's talk about these dirty tires that we've been off-roading with. They are a Wrangler Duratrack Goodyear. The tire size is a 225/75 with a 16-inch rim. This would probably be the only complaint I have about the trailer so far, is I just feel like it would be nicer to have a little bit meatier tread or a smaller rim. They are load range E, which is very important. I've seen a lot of manufacturers put load range C tires, which is just, in my opinion, unacceptable. You have an electric drum brake, and they lock up. We came down a crazy trail and I was able to lock them up completely. We also have a TPMS, so a tire pressure monitoring system that comes with the trailer as standard. It regulates your pressure and also heat, which is one of the main leading causes of blowouts, is improper tire pressure or the heat, the temperature. So it's good to always be able to monitor that while you're driving. Up here, we have a really cool ladder that takes you all the way to the roof. And on that roof, we have a Wi-Fi Ranger extender. That's by Winegard, and it is the Teton version. And it's actually a Wi-Fi booster where you can connect into a Wi-Fi or internet if you're at a campground. But it also has a SIM card option where you can connect into a cellular tower and be able to have access to internet wherever you get cell tower. They do have some, hopefully, things in the works to have a Starlink as a standard option. For right now, they don't. So I just had the Starlink hooked up to the trailer. Right over here we have our Furrion, and this is a 30 amp plug, and it comes with the outlet. We have our metal wheel wells, so you ever have a blowout, it's not going to just shred to pieces. You have an onboard air compressor, and as you can see, you have chucks right there, so you have access to be able to plug in and air up your tires. Oh, I do want to point something out here. It does have a cool little gauge right here, and it tells you your recommended travel height of your suspension. And then coming over here, we have our solar ports. This is for your option to add extra solar. On the roof there is actually 600 watts of solar, and that's standard. If you want to option, you can get an additional 2 300 watt panels to have a total of 1200 watts in all, and that's with the fully loaded battery and solar system. Right here we have a all locking storage compartment, and these are really nice heavy duty luggage latches. Right here, this is in the in position, and as you can see, you have some access and storage right here. These trays are built by MORride, and they are unbelievably robust. I'll walk around in a bit and show you the entire kitchen setup because it's really cool. And one of the things that I have not mentioned yet, and I'm going to mention in a bit, but it is the Garmin system. This entire unit is controlled by Garmin, and what that means is this is the very first ever truly smart trailer. Everything from the suspension to your water system to your lights, everything is controlled through the Garmin, pretty much everything. And it is a very, very cool, very incredible system, and I'll get more into details as we go inside and I show it off to you. Moving up here, I do want to talk about, this is just an extra little storage area. Once again, lockable. You have access to your electric tongue jack in case you have an issue, and then just a nice big storage area right here. You have another area where you put firewood. This thing has an unbelievable amount of storage. Also, I want to point out the light bar up there, and also you have a front facing camera. It has 360 degrees of camera, front, driver, passenger, and rear. You can see right over here you have another camera. And while I was talking about the Garmin, I'll just show you right now, since we're sitting out here, I actually have the ability to pretty much control anything on this trailer. See this light right here? I just pulled out my phone and I have turned on this light. So you have the ability to control everything remotely through your phone. There's also a tablet that comes with the unit that you can control everything there. I definitely am using the phone a lot. I want to come and show you this area too before we go to the other side. One of the things that I really like is just all the little details where you see the pause. You have it on the back of the tire. You also have it up along the rack on the roof that the solar panels sit on. You have little pause signs across the whole thing. But back here, I want to talk about your wet bay, where you control all your water systems. Right here, this is an access to be able to get to a water pump or plumbing. Really, really important that you have access to these types of things. A lot of manufacturers don't think this through, and when you have issues, they hide these pumps. We actually had a fifth wheel once where the water pump was installed behind the electrical panel, and the only way to get to the water pump was to pull out the entire breaker panel, and the pump was behind it. It was ridiculous. Like, it broke and we were trying to find access to it, and finally we had to unscrew it. This is like the Square D, you know, 120 amp breaker panels. First of all, it's kind of weird to put a nail next to your water system, but just putting it back there was also just absurd. But here, there's also a canister with a water filter, and then your water pump right there as well. And then right below it, you have your gray and your black tank release valves. You pull those out. A lot of times those are underneath the trailer. It's nice that they've put them right through the frame with those access points from there, and it is all enclosed in the underbelly. They've also given us a nice sewer storage hose, and then we have our stabilizer jacks, and these actually come all the way up and pretty much flush with the frame, so they really get out of the way. And this is just an access point, so if you ever had an issue electrically, you can manually override and crank them up. Right here you have your D recovery rings, and if you never ever needed to pull the trailer backwards or forward. Let's talk about this area right here. We have our, like I said, mentioned earlier, your wet bay. You have an outside shower hookup right here. You also have a little port that you can feed hoses down through here, and then they actually come up to this little area right here. So you can feed your water hoses and stuff through there if you're at a campground and you want the city water connection always hooked up. Right here you have a black tank flush, you have your city water, and I love these little valves. This is the Nautilus P4 system, and essentially it's really easy. You just plug your water in and you fill up your tank and you just follow this diagram. So if I want to fill up the tank, I put this down and then I put this that way, and that's how you fill up the tank. Obviously, I don't want to fill up the tank. I want it on dry camping. So I go right there. Okay, see, these two up, this one this way, that one down, and that's dry camping, which is what I'm doing right now. So I want to be on dry camping. But you also have access to be able to winterize this, so you can run your antifreeze right through the same port. You don't have to deal with disconnecting a water pump or doing any of that stuff. It's silly, right? You also have a water pump right here, so I can engage and turn on and off the water pump outside, so I don't have to pull out my phone app or go inside. You have a lot of different ways to control this system. And you also have a battery heater for your battery bank, and we'll get over to the battery bank in just a little bit. Okay, here we are in the back area, and right here there's a little mount. This is for a high lift jack. We have 2 spare tires on the trailer. They also have your tire pressure monitoring system on it, which is pretty cool. And this opens up like this, and you have a little cool little pin right here, and this drops down, and you have a little workbench. You have your recovery max tracks right here. And then this is a little handrail to be able to climb up into the storage area. We also have a camera back here. All of the cameras are night vision. This rear one has a speaker. So if you're guiding somebody's in the back, they can guide you and you can actually hear them from the monitor.
All around your trailer, you can see it while you're towing.
And the monitor you can put in your truck or inside the trailer and have 360 camera all the time while you're in your bed. If people knock on your door, you can see your side cameras, or if you're driving and towing in transit, you can also be able to see it. These right here are light switches. As you can see, you turn on that rear light, and this is the light for this cargo area, which I'll show you right now. This is definitely one of my favorite things about this trailer. You open this up, and this is a pretty large space. This is for hanging up boots. You also have some coat racks over here, some hanging area where you can hook up stuff. You have a fan right here, so if you put wet, damp stuff back here, you can turn the fan on and air it out back here. You have a 12-volt plug and a 120 amp outlet, regular residential. So if you are back here, you can use in your little tool, your workbench, and also have power. This right here is the solar panel briefcase that I was telling you about earlier, and you can store them back here. There's also space to store them inside the side compartment up front next to the ports. Moving in here, I want to come over to this side and show off your battery system. Really excited about this. So stock, you have a 540 amp hour Battleborn system. If you want to upgrade to their fully loaded battery and solar system, you can get 1,080 amp hours of Battleborn lithium, and it all is paired up with Victron, the baby blue. We have the 3,000 watt inverter by Victron. We have the Serbo GX, which gives you the ability to monitor this globally from anywhere. It has a SIM card in it. You also have all your MPPT solar charge controllers. This is an unbelievable system, and it's done very, very good. It's done the way it should be done. You also have a battery disconnect that will shut off everything back here. And also you have lights back here, and those lights are controlled with those switches right by the front door. You can also control these light switches with your Garmin system. So if you're laying in bed and you notice something's drawing your battery down on the tablet or on your phone, you can pull it up and you'll actually see that the lights in the garage are turned on. And from your bed, you can turn it off. So there we have it. Pretty cool setup back here. Let me show you these stairs really quick, because I do like these. They actually go up and they just tuck right into that area, and these actually flip around and it's actually very, very narrow. So when it shuts into the door, it actually doesn't take a lot of storage space out of there. I was in there and we shut them up and you could still fit in there really nicely. And that just goes all the way up and gets out of the way. You obviously have to pop these pins out and put that in like that. And that locks in nice and tight. And then you have the handle lock and also a deadbolt and these swing out tires and this bumper. This is an automotive Jeep bumper essentially. And these swing outs, actually Maynard said he saw these at SEMA and told the team, we got to have these on the back of the trailer. So very robust. Everything on this thing feels so robust. And that just kind of goes back down like that. As you know already, I mentioned, it's pretty heavy. For a 25-foot trailer, it's pretty heavy. When they were building this, they did not spare any expense to quality and the robustness of it. This is an entire steel bumper. And when I was coming down the trail the other night, like I was getting close to dipping and hitting this, and I felt pretty confident that I wasn't gonna break anything because this whole thing is just so robust. We're now back on the passenger side, and this little guy right here is actually a little mount, and there's little hooks that hook into here. They're inside, and you can hang stuff up here, jackets, boots. There's even a boot holder, so you got muddy boots. You can just hang things up to dry. We also have the on-demand hot water heater, so that's continuous hot water. So there's no tank, it's tankless. I mean, I took about a 10-minute shower last night and I just ran it the whole time. It was really cool. I'll show you more inside how to operate that. Up here we have a 14-foot Thule awning, and let me show you how that works really quick. I'm gonna pull out the app right here. You just have the ability to control everything. And so you go into here and you click awning, and as you can see, it's just gonna come on out. And these things are super robust, and it also has a wind sensor on it with multiple settings. Because one of the biggest things that you never want to do is leave an awning unattended, right? You don't want to go out hiking and leave your awning out. With a wind sensor, you have the flexibility to leave the awning out and go down around the corner for a little hike. If it does pick up wind, it will automatically retract itself, hopefully save you from a really expensive repair. Out here we have our outside speakers, so you can do your tailgating, your party, and have some music going. Speaking about tailgating, we also have a television out here, and it is a really nice TV. It's actually a smart TV. I'm gonna pull up that app again, and I'm gonna turn on my inverter because the inverter's off right now because I'm trying to charge my batteries. I just turned on the inverter from my phone, right? And I am hooked up with my Starlink, which is really cool. As you can see right here, I have the Starlink and it's plugged in right here on this outlet, and it's running over to the dish on the back of the trailer. You also do have a cable hookup here. So for setting out the TV, if you want to be able to set up another TV and plug it in and have the ability to run it through a satellite or cable, you know, some RV parks you go to actually have cable. Okay, and as you can see, works great. I'm running off the Starlink, got some football going.
Adam Baylor.
That's half, and it's really good speakers. You also have the other speakers up there to be able to play stuff through. If you like tailgating, if you like just sitting out in nature and, you know, watching a movie, sometimes it's fun when you're out in the middle of nowhere like this place, just to turn on a movie at night, because obviously you don't want to sit inside the camper, but every once in a while you want to, you know, watch a movie, and if you got Starlink, you might as well. I really love this bar stool area too. It's because you can sit here and hang out and watch the game, eat some food. Also, if somebody's inside, they can hand you food through the window. More importantly than somebody inside handing you food through the window is somebody outside cooking you food on the outside kitchen. And the outside kitchen, this is one of my favorite things about camping, is being in nice areas where you can cook outside. Locking latches, like I mentioned, and this is actually held up by a magnet, which is pretty cool. You have a little shelf in here just for food, spices, little stuff that you want. You have an outside hot and cold connection for your outside sink. And let's show you this kitchen. This kitchen is very cool. all built by MORryde. And MORryde is one of the best track systems that you can buy. Super heavy duty and robust. And this thing is gonna come all the way out to right there. You can put weight on this and it feels very, very strong. I'm really impressed with how strong this is. And then this comes out even farther. You can do that. You even have a little bit of a storage area right here, so you can put some of your maybe spatulas or, you know, cutlery or whatever you want in there. And right now this is a little low. Obviously I could adjust the height of this kitchen by 12 inches, which is pretty high, right? I could bring this all the way up to here if I wanted it, which I don't know why I would, unless I was parked on a weird area. But right here you have a bottle opener. You have a 3-burner propane cooktop. I love how you have the grill option for your steaks and your burgers, and you have your griddle option for your eggs or pancakes. This is a Greystone, and Greystone is one of the best grills on the market. This thing is a total of 36,000 BTUs. It's 12,000 per burner, and there's 3 of them. So this thing can put out some incredible heat and cook your food very fast. Like the most common stoves that you're gonna see in the industry are those little Dometic stoves. Those things put out like anywhere from 35 to 5,000 BTUs, so substantially less. With the wind, they get blown out all the time. They did a heat shield here too. And I also wanted to show that that's your grease catch. And there's a little drain right there. And this is actually true cast iron, which is really nice, is because cast iron kind of distributes the heat, so it cooks very evenly. Some of the other burners or stoves on the market, like the Blackstones, the knockoff of Greystone, they use steel. So it's just a piece of metal. This is actual cast iron right there. So very nice. Coming over here, you have a little clip right here, and I'll show you what that's for. This folds out and sets on right there. And then you have an outside sink that pops in right there. And that's where that hot and cold water is right there. So you can use this to wash your hands. You can also get this Truma refrigerator, and it also has a little freezer compartment. And this is the 69-liter refrigerator, and it has the dual zone controls, so you can have both zones going at the same time. This spot right here is a nice convenient area if you want to put extra goods or whatever you want in here, food or supplies. Also a big storage area over here. You can never use too much storage. Oh, and one thing I want to point out is you also have a light right here, so you can see what you're eating. The Truma also has a light there as well, and then you have outlets in here, 120 and a 12-volt plug. And then back in this area is all of your brain to your suspension, your air compressor. There you go. I'm talking about it. It's very fitting that it's doing it now. Another thing that I want to talk about out here is there's an awning light right here. Very nice for ambient outside. I'll show you, turn it on right there. And of course, I'm controlling it with the Garmin app, awning light. And I can turn on all the lights, the rear light, the front light bar, which is massive up here. If I want to, I can do all exterior lights, and it turns on all the lights at once, every single one. Another really important thing is right here, we have our entry light to our main door. You have the option of white, which is your brightest light you can get, but then you also have an amber, which deters the bugs from attacking you. They're not as attracted to amber as they are white lights. So very thought out, very well thought out. The Pause team, they've been very, very thoughtful on everything that they've done. Coming into the main door area, the main entry door. First of all, nice heavy duty grab bar. That's metal. Right here we have a cool little fancy tech entry door handle. You have a key fob, so you can lock it with a button and your keys. Or if you forget your keys, you can do a code and that's locked. So look, I can't open the door. That's the deadbolt. So if I want to open it, Obviously, you can program it up to 8 digits, 8 numbers of whatever you want. And now we can open. Before we go inside, I want to show you the stairs and the door itself. The screen door, you grab right here and that separates. And you have a nice screen door. You also have a glass window out your door with a nighttime shade. And the trailer actually blacks out very nicely. Since I've been sleeping in it, I close all the blinds and it stays pretty dark in here. And you have your deadbolt, obviously, from the inside that you can lock while you're in the trailer. And then you have your controls right here to be able to turn on and off your key fob or to reset your key code. Now let's talk about these stairs. They are also made by MORryde, just like the stairs in the back, but these ones are a little bit different and I really appreciate them. They're a lot easier to use. And let me show you why. I'll put it up here. Those other ones, if you recall, I was pulling out a pin to adjust these. These ones, you just press this button and they adjust like that. So they lock in really easily. Just press a quick little button. So whenever you get to wherever your camp is, it's really easy to adjust the proper height of the stairs like that. Super easy. You know, I'm not pulling out a cotter pin and sticking it in and trying to adjust it. I just keep on doing that. And when you're actually off-roading, those are going to go all the way up and lock in right there. And there's nothing that you're going to smash off while you're off-roading. So I really like that. I appreciate it when you get the stairs completely out of the way. The only thing that I don't like about them is they're only rated up to 500 pounds. And I'm 550 pounds. It's all muscle. But, you know, I do get a little bit concerned, you know, I might break them, you know, because I'm so strong. Come on inside. It is pretty beautiful in here. I'm really excited to show it off to you. Here we are inside, and the lights aren't turned on, so I'm gonna turn them all on with my phone. Pretty cool. One of the things that I really appreciate is this ability. Look at the lights, watch them. These ones can go dim, and the rear living rooms can go dim. See that? So it can be nice and dim, or I can go full bright. Well, first of all, if you dim it to 50%, guess what? It uses about 50% power, right? So you don't need to be wasting energy. And also at nighttime, it's just nice to have the lights dim. Or in the morning, I woke up, I didn't want them super bright. I just turned them on dim. And if you turn them on and off, it will go back to where the dimness was. So if you have them on dim and you just turn it on and off, it automatically goes back to wherever you dimmed it last. I just love this system. Let me pull up the actual tablet and show you that, because it's a lot easier to see on camera. Okay, so as you can see, this is the app. This is the Garmin system. It says it's 43 degrees outside. It's 58 degrees inside. My freshwater tank is about 70% or so, 60%. My gray, my black. I have all types of settings on here. So I have my water heater, my water pump, turn it on. I have my outside lights, my inside lights, my battery voltage, my percentage, AC, heat. This can all be controlled from your vehicle too, which is really cool. You can also leave this inside the trailer on its mount, and you can just utilize your cell phone. Honestly, at first I was playing with this and everybody had been asking questions. What if you lose it? What if it breaks? So I found out, well, there's an app. And I pretty much have not used this entire trip. I've only been using my cell phone. I actually think it works better on the cell phone. The app store on the iPhones seem to be super efficient. It runs really nice. It runs well on this too, but it's better on the phone in my opinion. So you have your lights, and as you can see, you can turn this one on and off. That's your back garage. So look, you turn that off, or it also has it listed right there. So you can see bathroom, and that has the ability to dim. Or you can say all interior lights off, all on. Obviously you don't want your back garage on. And then you have your outside light. See, that's your side light right there. That's your light bar up there. You can do it on your light bar, or you can press it right there where it says front. And there's your amber light, your white porch light, and it's also showing it right there. Very, very cool. All exterior lights on, all off at nighttime. You go in back to your home, that's all your climate controls. You go to your lights, you go to your gears. This is for your awning, your ability to do your electric jacks or your stabilizers. You go down here, this is your water system. You have your water pump, your water heater, your heated tanks. If I'm staying somewhere really cold, like I said, it was in the 20s last night. I never turned on the heated tanks and my water system seemed fine. Nothing was frozen and the trailer stayed nice and warm. We go to here, this is all of our solar system now. So we have our roof, we're pulling in 7 amps right now. We're gaining some power and our battery percentage is at 76% or 13.2 volts. This is your auxiliary, so if I were to plug in those extra 600 watt panels, you would see what's coming in through there. You have your AC loads. Obviously I'm plugged in. My laptop is taking 1 amp right now, or the TV, so very minimal power, and our shore power is 0. And this is also very, very cool. You can change your input. This is really, really cool to understand. If I pull into a campground and they have a 30 amp plug, right? I'm gonna just be at 30 amps. But if I'm traveling across country and maybe you're a couple and you pull into your kid's house somewhere and you're in their driveway and you say, hey, can I plug in? It's hot, it's summer, and I want to plug in and run my AC. If you plug it into a regular standard outlet, that might only be on a 20 amp breaker. And if you're running 30 amps right there, your input power is at 30 amps, you're gonna blow the breaker in their house. Fire up the AC, boom, you're gonna pop the breaker. So what you can actually do is you can adjust that, and you can adjust it down to say 20 amps. If you're still blowing the breaker, then you can adjust it down to 15 amps. And then you can turn on your inverter and you can run stuff off of your inverter, and you just take less power coming in from the actual outlet of the garage house. So you can kind of power share and just limit your power. And this is an issue. I have an outlet in my garage, and if I just plug a direct 30 amp, it will always blow the breaker. So you have the ability to adjust it. This is also really cool, like a generator. Sometimes people are like, what wattage generator can I get? Well, technically you can get any wattage generator you want because you can adjust it right here. Because there are some systems out there where the charging system, it's a one fits all. You know, you plug it in and it just pulls as much power as it can to put 50 amps to the battery or whatever it is, 30 amps. It has the ability just to really customize. You also have fuses, electronic fuses here. So if something goes out, you just click your fuse manager and you can reset your fuse. There's also fuses by the bed and you can work them there too. And then lastly, all your airbag suspension, you have preset ride heights while you're driving down the road. You can have a tow height set, you can have an off-road set, you can bring it all the way down, you can go all the way max. The amount of clearance that this has is by far the most out of any trailer I've ever seen. It's crazy how high this can go, which that would only be to go over an obstacle. You would not want to tow it in the max height. Very unwise, do not do that. So very, very cool system, and I love that you can control it on your phone as well as the tablet. You don't have to just be focused on the tablet. So let's put this back into its station. As you can see, you do have a nice bar stool area right here, and you do have chairs. It comes with 4 chairs. So I have 2 outside right now and 2 inside, but you can obviously put 3 right here. One of the things that I absolutely love about this trailer is the outlets. There are so many outlets in this trailer, and they have the dual USBs that has the new USB-C, and then it has the standard old-fashioned USB, which is mostly what I still have. You also have outlet here. You also have 2 outlets right there for your TV. You have your satellite, your cable hookups, and then this is your Wi-Fi Ranger. This comes with the Teton version, like I mentioned earlier. That will also dual as a SIM card, but this will also just boost your internet, your Wi-Fi if you're at a campground. But I want to show you this bed area, and this area, we're calling it the flex area. And the reason why we're calling it that is because this area could be used for multiple things. You obviously have what it comes with standard, the bar stools. It also turns into a little bed, but it would be very easy just to remove this stuff here and just make this into whatever you want. There's dinette table and chairs where you could put a little freestanding dinette table and chairs this way and have 4 chairs on each side. You could potentially put in a booth or put in bunk beds or something, right? It kind of gives you a flexibility of multiple things. But this comes out and this drops down, and you have your little teddy bear bunk bed series right here. And this is about 6 feet long. I'm 6 feet tall. And if I go all the way to the thing, I kind of hang off my feet. So it's a little bit less than 6 feet. It's about 6 feet right to the door. So if you were to have a booth or something, you could make it almost 6 feet. Right down here, check it out, another outlet. There's so many outlets. I'm gonna just point out outlets every time I see one so you can see how many outlets there are. But now let's say you wanna be able to have some bicycles. These right here lift up and this drops all the way down. And then you have a huge storage area here. We actually had somebody that was looking at these and he was like, we have a bunch of big dogs. How many dogs can sleep on the floor? And I was like, yo man, I don't know, but I show you how many dogs I can put on the floor. And I sent him a picture of 6 or 7 of my dogs. my bros from work. We were all laying on the floor for them. So lots of floor space in here. Moving down from the incredible amount of storage on the floor, you also have a lot of storage just throughout the trailer. As you can see, these cabinets up here, good amount of storage here, and these go all the way up and out of the way with those nice gas struts. And this is a pretty large backpack. I have some clothes up here. This is your Voyager, which controls your cameras. This is 100% aluminum. All the cabinetry in the entire trailer, all around the beds, under the bed, in the bathroom, everything is aluminum. So you are never gonna have issues with warping, wood, delamination, or of any kind. It's all aluminum. This makes me really happy. It's because there's nothing more frustrating than your cabinets falling apart. Coming back over to here, the walls themselves right here, like I already mentioned, it's a composite material and this is all a print. So this is not actual wallpaper, which is also a big issue where you have wallpaper pilling or you have seam tapes wherever they have each seam of paneling. This is not paneling, this is a one-piece composite. And now let's talk about the windows. Since we're sitting right here, I gotta bring the TV back inside though before I can talk about the windows. And this TV mounts and kind of tucks away nicely right there. So these windows, as you can see, go straight up. So you have lots of clearance, and that's the whole reason why you can put a TV outside. And then they drop down and they actually stop at different positions. There's a little click you gotta listen for. And once you hear the click, that's where it stops. And then you actually have a screen that comes down for bugs. And you have a blackout shades for nighttime. And I cannot tell you how often I've heard people say, why don't they flip the screens around? Because the most common window you see in the market right now is a Eurovision, and their blinds are flopped the other way, so the dark comes down and the screen goes up. And these ones, they've done them in reverse, because everybody's like, I want privacy, you know, like I want to put it up and be able to walk around naked, I suppose. I don't know. But anyways, you will definitely get more privacy with them coming up than coming down. The reverse is also the sun. The other ones block the sun from coming down. So whatever, tomato, tomato, everybody has their own preference. Look at this, nice little key hooks or coat racks. You also have coat racks right here. These things are really nice, and these are those things that can go outside and you can adjust it to different spots. I don't know why you would want to put it right there. Maybe you have a Christmas wreath that you want to knock your head on every time you come in and out. Those go in and lock in right there, and you can hang your coats, your jackets. Moving over here, we have our aluminum cabinets, and these open up and you have hanging ability. I have a jacket in there, pretty big jacket. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things hung up in there, and I still have a lot of space. Probably put a dozen or so shirts in there easily. Underneath here you have an outlet with your USB charge points too. Over on the other side you have another outlet. Like I said, you got lots and lots of outlets. And also behind the bed, you can't see, but tucked back in there, you have additional outlets and chargers. Right here, you have your lights, and these actually have a blue light. That's the main reading light at night, but if you press and hold, it turns blue right there. So it's very faint and dim. So if you want to have maybe not bother the person next to you. You also have inside and outside speakers. It's all a Fusion radio system, and it is all Bluetooth, so you can hook it up to your phone. And then coming up here, I want to show you, we have amazing. Look at the view out here. Do you see that? That's amazing. And you also have screens. So if it's nighttime and you want to lay in here and look up at the stars. These windows also open, so you have some air flow in here if you want. Very, very comfortable. This bed also is a true queen size bed. So if you wanted to always leave it in a bed position, you could, and you could put any bed you want on it. It comes standard with a tri-folding mattress. This goes down like that. You can stuff that bed out of the way. I didn't do a very good folding job. Plus I left all the pillows back there. It actually folds nicely and like almost flush like this. I'm just stuffing it down there really quickly so you can kind of see it. But then this area becomes a very nice sitting area. And you have a bunch of space right here. Some storage. These drawers open up and close. You have some nice storage right there. This is your 120 breaker panels and your 12-volt fuses. You also have your electronic fuses in there. There's also an additional outlet here, believe it or not. You also have a 12-volt cigarette lighter plug there. And that's great, is because I put the camera right there to be able to see outside, and I can select, that's my rear camera. I can go to my door. I can go to the side or the front or wherever. Very, very cool system right there. And then this is where your Garmin lives right there and gives you all the ability to control your trailer right here. Now I want to show you something else on the Garmin, because I just turned on the water pump a bit ago, and now I want to turn on the water heater. So I'm going to engage the water heater, and you can see it just turned on right here, and it's set at Fahrenheit, which is what I prefer. And I can actually adjust the temperature. See, 100 degrees, I can go up to 104 or up to 123. So that's as hot as it goes. And then essentially it's on demand. So all I do is turn this on, and if I wait for a second, the water heater will engage, and immediately the water starts getting hot. You can actually see it right here turning on. It says 93, 96, 98, and now it's feeling actually pretty warm. Now we're already at 105 degrees, which is feeling nice and toasty now. It will go all the way up to 123 degrees, all on demand like that. That's hot. So there's no tank in it. Of course, if I'm showering, I don't want to shower at 120 degrees, so I'm just going to turn it down to, you know, maybe say 107 degrees, and that's a really nice toasty temperature, and I can just leave it on full blast, or I can turn it down to, you know, about 50%, so I'm not wasting a ton of water. But that water heater just stays engaged and keeps the water nice and warm the entire time. Of course, this comes out and can spray, turn it off. Really, really like that water heater, honestly. It works, it functions. The only negative thing would be you waste a little bit of water right in the initial get-go of it starting up and firing up, because you drain some cold water out until it starts getting warm. But I like it how you can take long showers. Of course, the longer shower you take, the more water you're gonna use, so you gotta be a little cautious of that. With 76 gallons on board, it's pretty awesome. And guess what? I think I told you there's a few outlets in this trailer. Whoa! 2 more, plus USB chargers. Lots and lots of outlets. Okay, now I want to talk about one of the things that bothers me more than anything else in trailers, and something that they never think of, is where do you put the trash and where do you put your dirty clothes? Nobody thinks that through. There's a lot of storage, so I guess you could throw trash anywhere. I think this is a great spot for your trash can. There's lots of space under here. You could get a nice little trash can right here or under there and pull it out. Right now I don't have a trash can, but that's my trash right there. So that's where I'm throwing my trash. Coming down here, I want to show you another feature that I absolutely love. It actually comes in this little bag. This is supposed to be wound up. And in here you can see there's little fittings and different things. You have different tools. Check this out. I absolutely love this thing so much. Come right here, lift that up, plug it in, and you got a vacuum. And this thing reaches really far. Check it out. I can come all the way back, and I can vacuum all the way in the very back of that corner. I can vacuum up along here. I can also go all the way into the bathroom. And I can vacuum all the way in the very corner, all the way on the roof. Oh, look, if I can't quite reach something, I can extend it. So if you're really short, you can vacuum up there. You can get your filters. Anyways, love this. And if you want to sweep, if you have a broom, I have a little broom, cool little broom that extends. But if I want to sweep, and I come to right here, I push this. I love it. It's just the conveniences. I love these things. It's because it makes your camping experience so much nicer. This broom does not come with it, but we actually sell those if you want to buy one when you come with the trailer. Now, another thing that I do want to mention is the hinges have a little bit of pressure, so they pull them in, and that kind of keeps them nicely shut, has that soft close. But there's also magnets that suck them in even better. This has been tested at the Navistar track, which was like equivalent of, I can't remember if it was like 5 or 10 years of usage, and they didn't have the magnets on them, and the doors didn't ever come open or have issues, but some people were complaining about it, so they added magnets to them as well. I've been taking them off in Moab and nothing was open. And a lot of it's suspension, right? A lot of people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. I take my trailer off and all the cabinets fly open. But some of it's your suspension. If you have terrible suspension, everything's rocking back and forth. Locking latches would be better for sure, but I haven't had issues with them yet, and I've done some pretty extreme stuff. I actually had stuff laying everywhere, and just because I'm always curious to see how things shift and move around. The suspension seems to be handling things very, very well. In here you have all your goodies, your Garmin, your tire pressure system, your manuals. You got books for everything in the trailer, and then just a good amount of storage in here too. Moving over here, we have a oven. Yeah, and this is the Furrion, and it is one of the largest ovens you can get in an actual trailer. This is a massive oven. You could almost put a turkey in there. You might have to find a small turkey, medium-sized turkey. Up here you have a 3-burner Furrion stove, and those light up just like that. And those are very nice. All 3 of these. Moving up higher, you have your microwave, and this is just a standard microwave. This is not a convection, but you don't need a convection because you have an actual oven. Up here you have a little bit more storage space. And up here you have more storage space, and that's a pretty deep storage cabinet too. This fridge is amazing. This is the biggest fridge I've ever seen in an RV. This is like a residential fridge, and I love how they actually have this clip that holds it shut. I was on some pretty extreme camber, and I'm always worried that we're gonna come in and find issues. The only thing that was kind of flying around was the TV, honestly. So we need to find a way to secure that better because it wasn't secured very well. But this fridge opens up, and I don't even think we should mention it and its cubic feet. It should be more like cubic yards because it is massive. It's actually 15.6 cubic feet. It's a house. It's a house refrigerator. Freezer, fridge, more space than you'll ever know what to do with. If you run out of space, there's an outside 69-liter refrigerator too. Okay, now lastly, I need to go to the bathroom. No, me, not you. I need to go to the bathroom. Leave me alone. I need some privacy. Okay, this is an aluminum door, and I think this is aluminum casing. Oh, porcelain toilet. You never want to leave home without your porcelain toilet. You have your little toilet paper holder. That's good to have. The thing that I mentioned that drives me crazy is a place to put your dirty clothes. This is a massive area, and this is currently where I'm putting my dirty clothes, and I think you could put a hamper in here and fit tons and a week's worth of dirty clothes in here. You also have drawers right here. I have my stuff. Behind here is just an access panel to get to the back side of the water heater. We have an open shelf here and more storage right here. And guess what? Not one outlet, but 2. There's one right over here too. So lots and lots of outlets in this trailer. Lastly, but not least, we have the best part of all. This shower is massive. Also, I like that there's not a glass shower, you know, it's because glass can break, and that makes a lot of sense to not have a glass one. Anyway, you have a shower head here. You also have a tool here that can, like, just a shower wand, I should say, and then you can adjust it. I've taken showers in here. It's very, very comfortable. If you dropped a bar of soap, this is a question that everybody has, would you be able to pick it up? Yeah, I mean, this thing is a little bit in the way, but look at that. And if you wanted to, you could sit down and pick it up, and you could shave your legs. Not me, I don't shave my legs, but somebody could. This shower is very, very comfortable, and I'm 6 feet tall, and as you can see, I'm nowhere near this ceiling. A lot of off-road trailers, that's one of the biggest flaws that a lot of them have. The ones that are available in the market is ceilings are like not much more than 6'3", 6'4" if you're lucky. Even with this screen or nightshade, as you can see, I'm not even touching this. So you're probably a good 6'4", 6'5". In the shower. In the entire trailer, you're closer to 6'6", because the shower, you kind of step up off the floor about 4 or 5 inches. But even if you are really tall, you have this dome that opens up. You also have some little storage areas up here with shelves. Shower is really good. And as you can see, I step down and now I have all the headroom I could ever want. Furnace, 20,000 BTU furnace, AC unit. It's a Truma Aventa Eco, and that's a 13,500 BTU. They're supposed to be like 30% more efficient than the standard 13,500 BTU AC units. Truma made them for lithium battery setups. It is 120 volt, but they've been testing it in Florida. It's a dehumidifier, really, really good AC unit. I'm excited. I haven't used it in the summer. The videos I've watched, the people I've talked to about it, super familiar with other Truma products, and I've never been disappointed with Truma as a whole. So I'm really excited to get that into the real world and use it. There you have it. This trailer, it is very beautiful. It's sometimes hard to capture on the video. If you want to come out and see one, you know, set up an appointment to come out and see us out in South Carolina. Reach out to us. You can text us at the 801-860-0035. Once you text that number, we'll ask you if you're looking for South Carolina or Utah. Just press 2 for South Carolina. You can also reach out to any other dealer and go and take a look at them, and then call us if you want to put in an order, and we'll deliver it right to your house. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, please make them below. This video is brought to you by ROA Off-Road. We have a national presence on the East and West Coast. We deliver to anywhere in North America, Canada, or any state in the United States. When you come and work with us, it's not just about buying a trailer, but it's more about joining the community of roamers and being able to go on adventures and rallies. And just remember, that's what the trailer is all about. It's a tool to go out and explore and have more freedom and more flexibility to go places like this, incredible places. Thank you so much for watching. Go and check out our other tours. We will have a full walkthrough coming soon on the XC20.2, and they've already made some cool changes to that. We also have some incredible adventures, so stay tuned and hopefully we'll see you soon.